Welcome to the Hurdy-Burk Internet Broadcast Network. And right before the show, we always like to introduce our mainline sponsor, which is CPR Cell Phone Repair, located in La Frontera and Round Rock, Texas. If you need fast, affordable repairs for phones, tablets, laptops, and game consoles, your gadgets play a major role in your professional, personal, and school life. And when your phone, tablet, or laptop breaks, you want an expert to handle the repair. That's where we come in. With over 16 years of experience in the electronic repair industry, CPR Cell Phone Repair can get the job done quickly and effectively. Come visit us at our website, cellphonerepair.com. Now on to the show.
Hey everybody, we want to welcome you to the Hurdy-Burk Internet Broadcast Network, and we are, well, number one, I have a great person on the phone tonight, Sherry Marshall. We're going to get to her in a few minutes, but this is our first show for 2016. Sherry, you're the first guest for 2016. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Hey, and this podcast will also be on demand at the end of the show later tonight on the Hurdy-Burk Broadcast Network Facebook group page. So make sure if you do listen to this on demand, Sherry will have links in her own custom player to share. Feel free to go over and join that group and listen to all the 160 shows we've done over the last 3 years and listen to some great Austin business. Sherry, thanks for being a guest today. We have Sherry Marshall with ASEA. I love the name. And we want to say Happy New Year to you.
Thank you. Back at you.
And I got one of the most energetic people you'll ever meet on the phone with me today. Am I right?
You're right, Hurdy. I absolutely love life, so the energy kind of comes through.
And you know, for a long time, I've been trying to get you on this show, right?
Yes.
And Sherry has done some marvelous presentations in some network groups that I've been to that she is just fun to listen to. So you guys are in for a treat today. But Sherry has offered us 10 questions for this podcast that we're going to go through with her today and get to know her a little bit. So Sherry, again, welcome to the show. And can you tell us a little bit about your background? We like to introduce our guests and kind of get a feel for their background.
Sure, I'd be glad to. I actually grew up in Corpus Christi, Texas, and right out of high school I went to work for what was then Southwestern Bell. It's now AT&T, and I worked for them for 29 and a half years. I feel like I was really blessed to have several very interesting jobs, but what's strange is that even though I worked for this huge corporation, I always thought of myself as owning my own business, and people used to look at me kind of strange when I would say that, but most of my bosses were not in the same city where I was located, so I was kind of on my own. That made me look at things differently, but I was a manager in a call center, and then I was over the training staff in San Antonio for about 10 years. That was a very interesting job. I helped to not only develop some training material, help with delivery, but sometimes supervise that delivery. And it was just everything from soup to nuts that we got to really get involved with. So that was really fun. And then go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Okay. I was offered a position as area manager, moved to Dallas where I managed about 150 people, but one of my most challenging jobs was probably my last assignment in Houston, Texas. I was offered the job as a director managing 5 locations and over 400 people.
Wow.
That was very exciting, very interesting, and we were able to obtain some really outstanding results. But during that time, Hurdy, what I saw is that times were changing, and what I had loved about working at that company was starting to change. We started to be more micromanaged, and so I really knew that wasn't the best environment for me. So the company offered a buyout, and I took that opportunity. I'll be forever thankful for my time there. I learned so much from that time of my life, but it was time for me to exit.
And so those days are over, and they gave you a nice little package, and now you've moved on to your own business. And I understand you're now with a company called ASEA. Can you tell us a little bit about ASEA?
Yes, I'd love to. Very interesting company. This company is run by some of the most strategic, successful business minds in the United States. Some of our leaders are actually sought out to come and talk to Fortune 50 companies. ASEA is all about cellular health. It's the world's first and only redox signaling supplement. And that on its own does not tell you a thing. But when you discover what redox signaling really is and the importance of what that does in your body, you'll get why I get so excited about this company. I'd like to just give you a snapshot of that.
Sure.
Redox signaling molecules are already in our body. They are what empowers your body to heal itself by increasing cellular efficiency, cellular function, and cellular communication, which I kind of think is funny since I came from the phone world. That it's all about cellular, right?
Right. That makes no pun intended. Okay.
No pun intended, that's right. But think about what I just said. If there's something out there that could help repair and replace damaged cells, how big would that be? The information regarding, it's massive. It really is. The information regarding redox signaling and what it does for the body is written in over 10,000 peer-reviewed medical studies. There's a textbook written about it called Redox Life. Without these molecules, we die. And ASEA is the first and only company to have these as a supplement. So I'm very excited to be a part of this.
Well, you should be. And I guess ASEA is a networking marketing company, Sherry, right? So what leads somebody from a very successful corporate world into network marketing? Was that just a huge change for you?
Huge. Yes. I mean, I had to get over myself, first of all, because I had this perception about network marketing that wasn't good. And part of it is, I think, that in some network marketing companies, there's been some that maybe haven't been the most ethical in the past. I think that's really changed. But I was always a corporate girl. I understood traditional business. I was clueless when it came to network marketing. But now that I really understand network marketing, I have been forever ruined. I feel like that I could never go back to a traditional business because if you've got the right company behind it, it's just such a unique opportunity. And I'll give you an example. At AT&T, I trained and developed people, and not to brag, but I was very good at it. The people that are still there, I don't get any benefit. I don't get any money from my efforts of training them. And so in network marketing, what I liked about it is what you build, you keep. So I have a team of people, some of them that I introduced to ASEA 3 years ago. I may talk to them once a month, once a quarter, once a year, but I get paid every time they or someone they connect orders a product. I don't think I would be very excited about this if it was just a run-of-the-mill company, to be honest with you, but because we have such a unique product that actually changes people's lives so dramatically, it actually sells itself. So what led me to network marketing is I did the research to be sure I was with the right company, that I had a unique product, that it was something I could pass on to my daughter and my grandchildren, and that was something I couldn't get from a traditional job.
Right, and that makes absolutely total sense. And that was going to be one of my in-between questions was, I know you very well, and I know you're studious about making sure that you're working for an ethical business and above board, right? So my question was follow-up was, you really did your research, correct?
I did. Not only did I do my research, I actually went to the headquarters.
There you go. That's the Sherry I know. Okay.
Exactly. I met with the leaders and I met with the scientists behind this because I had to know that what I was really putting my name behind was 100% correct.
That's awesome. And so we both know, and I know this is probably your toughest question, is there's a lot of companies out there that claim to help your health, right? So what sets ASEA apart from some of these other companies that are in direct marketing or network marketing?
Yeah, great question. Several things actually. We're talking about cellular health. So to clarify, this is not a vitamin. It's not a mineral. It's not an antioxidant. It is something already present in your body that becomes to decrease over time, so it needs to be supplemented. It's 100% safe. You cannot have an adverse reaction to this because it's already present in your body. So if you're taking a vitamin, a mineral, or an antioxidant, this makes it work better. Somebody explained to me one time that it's kind of like having a light bulb but no electricity. That's what a vitamin would be.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah, isn't it? Until you plug in the electricity to make that light bulb work, it's just a light bulb. So this really is the electrical current to get everything working better. I think the other thing is that this is so science-based. We've got medical journals verifying that really what these redox signaling molecules do, universities that have studied the results from ASEA and the benefits for athletes. So I think that's a big thing, and I should say last but not least, what sets us apart, I believe, is the integrity of the company itself and the outstanding leadership. Because you can have the best product in the world, but if you don't have the best leadership, that company can go under.
Right, and I would also imagine that the testing, if you don't mind me throwing in a Hurdy-Burke question here, Sherry, is that a lot of these products are blind tested and third blind tested. Is that correct?
Yes. Now, a lot of the testing has been done under redox signaling and not the name ASEA. But it's verified by a particular company that actually verifies a lot of the medications, that in every one of our products is redox signaling molecules.
That's
so if
awesome.
somebody wanted to do the research, they could go to PubMed and look up redox signaling molecules and see what it does.
That's great answer, and I just wanted to ask that personally. So, all right, network marketing, Sherry, is a huge challenge. Well, any business for that matter, if you're running your own business. So what keeps you motivated moving forward? Because I'm sure that rejection is part of the game, right?
No, I never get a no.
Okay, right. We never do.
Right. No, absolutely. And, part of it is just exactly what I talked about at the beginning. My perception of network marketing before I got into it was not good. And it's because you might have heard something from somebody else. So I love when somebody's skeptical. And somebody may say, oh, my gosh, what do you mean? But I do, because it gives me an opportunity to really be able to find out what's going on in their head and to see if it's really that they're skeptical. Do they need more information, or are they really just not interested? Because some aren't. But the best health products really are under the network marketing umbrella, and a lot of times it's because they take an education or more explanation, so word-of-mouth network marketing is best for those. But to answer the question, what keeps me motivated?
Yeah, I want to know that, because you're a very motivated person.
Yes, I would take this product regardless. But for me, the reason for building the business is all about animals. Since I was a very, very young woman, actually young kid, probably 8 years old, I thought I wanted to be a vet, but I knew I could never put an animal to sleep. So I loved animals, wanted to make a difference in their lives. And I thought what I wanted to do was open an animal sanctuary, but found that my heart was way too fragile for that. I would have to come face to face with some of the atrocities every day, and I knew I couldn't handle it. But good sanctuaries and rescue groups, they need lots of money. And there are a lot of good people trying to do what's right by the animals. So I found my real reason for building is to give back to those rescue groups, those sanctuaries, and get them funds they need. But, Hurdy, what I'm most excited about is that I also get a chance to teach them how to fund themselves, because this is a network marketing company. They can fund themselves through a product that can help not only them and people with health, but the animals with health. Now, let me clarify, this isn't an animal product. It's not marketed for animals. But it is cellular health. And guess who has cells? Animals.
My Rusty.
You're Rusty. That's right. You're a wonderful dog. He is such a sweetheart. So what I launched last year is really going into more of those rescue groups, and it is growing every day. I've committed to give 10% of my profits, actually a minimum of 10%, I usually give more than that, to designated animal rescue groups or sanctuaries, and it's been so exciting to me this last year to see those numbers grow month over month, and that keeps me motivated.
That's awesome. Great story and a great cause, and what a good way to go in, Sherry, kind of around the corner and help let them build residual income for that. That's awesome.
Yes.
What are some things that you personally, we always ask this, right? How's the product helped you?
Yeah, well, I'm 65 years old. I feel like I'm 35. I have high energy. I've always had high energy, so I can't say ASEA is totally responsible for that. But what I did see is that I sleep better. I sleep longer because I'm one of those that fight sleep, so I'll go on 4 hours sleep. So I do at least 6 to 7 with this. And so I feel better than I ever have. No aches, nothing. But personally, some of the things that I've seen, my husband burned his hand picking up a log on the barbecue pit that was lit on the underside, so he didn't think it was lit. Yeah, it turned, white, and he's kind of a doubting Thomas a little bit, but he used ASEA and saw immediate relief, no blistering. So that was great. Yeah. My grandson's had a couple of problems on his face that teenagers get. He saw that go away. I have a person in my team that had to walk around with an oxygen bottle, doesn't do that anymore. And the animals. Well, let me tell you, one of the biggest successes was an animal, actually a horse rescue group, that some of these horses had a respiratory problem. They were going through antibiotics, and they weren't helping, and the animals were getting so sick that they had stopped eating. Some of them had stopped drinking, so they knew that it was very, very serious. They started giving them ASEA within 20 hours of being on this. It turned them around. They started back on their road to recovery. And I got to tell you, out of all the stories, that one made me cry.
There you go. Yeah, because you're a big animal lover, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the tough question. I know that we all have these in our business challenges. So, Sherry, what do you kind of see as your biggest obstacle for the business? What you bump into constantly that's a problem? Maybe that's not the way to word it. Just obstacles, things we can overcome, but we have to have solutions too, right?
Absolutely. Well, most people would probably say skeptics, and I kind of covered that earlier. I like the skeptics because it gives me a chance for people to do research. But my real obstacle, I think, is getting the word out fast enough and getting people to review the information. Because if they don't do the research, they don't know what they're saying no to. And that's probably the hardest thing. So I want to educate everyone as fast as possible. If they look at the information and then tell me they're not interested, I'm good with that. It's like they've done enough research to really make a good decision. But I do care that they know about it because it could make a difference for them or somebody they really care about or an animal that they love.
That's cool. And so the obstacle part is like in most business where you have to do a lot of follow-up, make sure people understand the education part, and then can make a good business decision based on taking the product and also maybe becoming a part of your business, correct?
That's correct.
All right. Hey, so where do you see ASEA in 3 to 5 years? What are they pushing out to you guys and telling you is going to happen?
Well, it's actually been said, and I believe this really is the greatest health science breakthrough of our lifetime. And what I've seen happen already is that it's going into more and more medical clinics, even hospitals, than I even thought possible. So this is going to be a household name. I believe in 3 to 5 years when I say redox signaling, people go, oh, yeah, ASEA. And what's cool about that is it will mean better health for so many people and hope for so many that right now may not have that today.
And I know that you've told us from our network group meetings it's growing really fast, and the fact that it's getting into these inroads into these medical systems proves that it's a great product, correct?
Yes. Yeah, very, very exciting time to be with them.
So one of my questions for you before we get to the next one is, and you don't have it on, your crack staff didn't come up with this question, so this guy's going to ask it if that's okay. You can present other folks looking for a business opportunity, correct, to come on board with you, right?
Absolutely. Yes, that's the exciting part. To me, you have to believe, some people don't believe this, but to me, you have to believe in the product before you can even look at the business. Because if I was up here talking about the business and didn't believe in the product, I think that would be
bad news.
Not honest. I just don't think it would be honest. So I do want people to absolutely get informed about the product, and then at that point, it's such a huge, big breakthrough that with every huge breakthrough, guess what? That's the biggest opportunity. So most people, anybody that I talk to, if they say, that they are interested in the product, then at that point, I give them the options and let them know what it really means to be in network marketing, which in this company you can make money just by sharing it. I mean, the first probably 2 years, I didn't go out to really build a business. I had been in one other network marketing business, and I was kind of burned out. And so I kind of stepped back and didn't do a lot of really the business stuff. And I looked up, and I had 400 people on my team, and I was like, and that was
Wow.
just because the product was working.
Wow.
And I wasn't, I'd introduced it to a few, and they introduced it to a few, and when something works, it does sell itself.
And so product first, then opportunity when you get to know somebody and they've had a chance to use the product, which is a great approach, Sherry. That's to me, that's the way to do it. So what about you? How are you fitting into this plan?
Well, I believe this will be my legacy. We're building a huge team of people that are coming together to make such a big difference in this world. With the money we make from this business, we're reaching out to others and doing things we never thought possible. I told you about me,
Right.
about the animals, but I have a bigger vision than just even the rescue groups. I don't know if you remember when Katrina hit. There was
Yes.
an article about a person in California that flew a jet into that hard-hit area and got the animals out and got them to safety.
Wow.
I see myself being able to help with those kind of efforts, along with the day-to-day, let's find homes for all the animals left behind. So my prototype of what I see happening in rescue groups is, if you've ever looked at its Best Friends Sanctuary in Utah, if you haven't seen it, look it up. It's an awesome place for animals to live out their days if they do not get adopted, but that takes lots of money. So that's where I fit in this plan. I believe that it's not only going to be me, the people that are coming in this with me, they're animal lovers.
And you are that.
Yes.
You are that.
Yes, I am 100%. So this business can absolutely be the answer to that, and I'm very, very excited about that.
Well, you've been an amazing guest today, and one final thing, I know we don't always get to cover everything, but I think we've covered a lot. Is there any parting thoughts or parting things you want to allow your listening audience to know?
Yeah, I do. I love what I do. I love making a difference, and I would say if you don't love what you do, you might want to look at doing something else. And if you are, I feel like I'm making a living while making a difference, which is a kind of a different way to approach things. But I heard one of our great leaders say there's really 6 reasons why people will really do the research with ASEA. And I'd like to share those 6 reasons. And one of them is health challenges, and it's actually 1 and 2, health challenges that either you have or someone you care about may have. That would be a reason you would do the research. One of them is vanity. This is an anti-aging product, so self-image is huge for people. If you have self-image, you can do so much more because you're not afraid of, you just have that confidence. Number 4 is athletic performance. People that are looking to perform better will do the research. The people that are proactive about their health, then they'll also take a look at this. And number 6 is what we just talked about, is the opportunity. Because with every great breakthrough comes this opportunity. And more people struggle today, Herdy, with money than ever before. So if there was a way, if there was a way to do something that could make a difference and that could bring income so that you wouldn't have to struggle so much, that would be great. But I did add a number 7, and that is, shoot, just come help me with the animals.
So, a Sherry Marshall-ism. All right, help with the animals.
Exactly.
Funny, I knew you were going to say that. Funny, I knew that.
Exactly.
You've been a tremendous guest today, and I can't thank you enough for allowing me to take a chance to interview you on this podcast. I can't wait to get you a recording of it so you can share it with folks and build your business. I wish you all the success, and Happy New Year 2016, right? And Sherry, you're an awesome guest.
Thank you, Herdy. You are just a wonderful friend. Thank you so much for doing this.
You're so welcome. Listen, everybody, thank you for listening to the Herdy Burke Broadcast Network podcast.